Hello my friends, welcome back to another YouTube video. If you guys have not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. I'm really looking forward to putting up more videos like this in 2024 and kind of keeping these discussions going from a very casual and lighthearted place, almost as if we're just sitting and talking together, except I can't hear you, but you can hear me. So with that said, today I want to talk about being a stay-at-home girlfriend. And before we get into this topic, I would like to mention I am not a stay-at-home girlfriend. I do work from home, but I contribute to bills and such in the same way that my boyfriend does. We have a really nice balance going that way. So while I am not speaking from direct experience, I have just been consuming a lot of content online recently. And while I am a girl's girl and I love the idea of women being financially supported by men, emotionally supported, all of these things, I do sort of have an opposing opinion. And it's not even that I frown upon people or like I don't condone women who take this approach to life. By all means, get your bag, buy your man if that is the approach you want to take. I don't really care. Everybody can do whatever they want, but I'm just here to like throw my opinion into the mix. So try not to take anything I say to heart. I understand some of you probably will, but like it's not that serious, you know? Like I'm not affected by what you do in your life, just like you're not affected by what I do in my life. So let's talk about men. Let's talk about the expectations that we have really placed on them recently. There has been a rise in feminism. It's kind of interesting to see how we as women demand our independence and freedom and, well, really just that, freedom and independence. But at the same time, we're like, yes, we want this, but we also want you to keep doing all of the other things that you were doing. It is creating this weird fine line between people who don't think that way and don't view things that way. There's recently been the rise of the sprinkle culture.
How do you ask men for money without feeling that like this? Do you want to make me happy right now? Yeah, of course I do. I want to make you happy too. But later on. Well, what do you want? Then whisper in his ear like this. I want you to take me to the ATM and give me as much money as you choose. It's kind of a kink. I just want to see what you're going to give. It's like, okay, let's go. Then you're going to say, no, never mind. You're going to tease them a little bit. You're going to say, never mind. How about the next time we see each other, you just bring it to me? He already know he gonna seduce you because you just whispered in his ear, and you know what that do.
And while I love that woman and I find her to be hilarious, I question, like, is it all about that? Is it really all about the financial aspect of what a man can bring to the table? And I've noticed more and more women are saying things like, okay, but what about the emotions? A lot of these women would argue, well, yeah, emotions can come after I know that I'm gonna be taken care of. So I tend to stay pretty quiet on this topic because if you're a woman that like splits your rent with your husband or your partner or your boyfriend, oh my gosh, these women will come for you. They're like, well, I'm so glad you're dating these men so that we don't have to. It's interesting because I know that this all comes down to the way that we were raised. In my case, I had a single mom growing up. There was no dad, there was no father figure, and my mom raised me telling me, do not ever, ever rely on a man. Also, always understand your value as a woman. Don't ever let a man speak down to you. Don't let him cuss at you or call you names. She really instilled in me from a young age, no domestic abuse, no verbal abuse. Do not depend on a man financially or emotionally because they can up and leave at any moment. And I've just always thought that way. And I grew up with a fiercely independent woman. So after she passed away, that just kind of poured itself onto me. And I've always been part of the crowd of people that's like, oh, I would love to be with somebody from, you know, the bottom and watch them grow to the very top and say that I was with them before the fame, before the success. And I don't know, and now that seems to be getting criminalized, that now that's like not a good thing to do. I saw a video where a guy was like, no, you don't need to stay with a guy that is trying to build his way to the top. Like, you deserve the security of being with somebody who's already there. And that's true too. But at the end of the day, like, everything is a choice, right? Like, no one's holding you with like a weapon to your head saying, you better date this person, you don't have a choice here. Like, you can pick and choose, but neither are wrong. Neither of them are wrong. You have the freedom to explore, and maybe you date the guy with all the money and he ends up being an asshole and he cheats on you, or he has no work-life balance. So yeah, he financially supports you, but he's not home until 10 o'clock every night. Or you stay with the guy who's gonna rise to the top, but he plays video games from like literally 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and isn't doing anything, so then you dump him. It's like you get to choose. But again, I think it all comes down to the way that we're raised, because a lot of these women that do say like, I only will be with a man that financially provides for me, I let them know the minute I meet them, hey, I expect you to do this, this, and this for me, usually have fathers that ingrain that in them. Me? Not the case. Not the case at all. I honestly thought I was going to be alone for the rest of my life. So for me, I feel like I have a different perspective on relationships because I've always taken care of myself. And it honestly makes me anxious to think of giving up my financial control to somebody else, probably because I have abandonment issues, and also like what a scary thing to do in a world where literally money rules everything. Giving that up? Tell me you're just gonna give that up? And look, I will say, through being with someone like my partner, he really has changed my perspective about men being the providers. It really was something I was completely unaware of, not knowledgeable about. I didn't know that there were even expectations like this because it really was just not my reality. But it took him coming in and being like, I would love to be able to provide for you fully one day, and for you to be a stay-at-home mom, and you know, you could just do whatever you want. Like, you can just live your life and I just provide. I remember the first time he told me that, I was like, I don't know why. Why? Is this a trap? Why do you want me to not work? Why do you want me to not provide? Why not have two incomes instead of just one? And to him, it was like, well, this is just like how it is, you know? Like, I want to be that for you. I don't want you to have to think about those things. And so after a while, I was able to be like, oh my gosh, okay, that's actually really kind. Thank you so much. But I also made it clear to him that for as long as I have the ability to make my own money, I will be making my own money. I cannot imagine giving up everything that I've worked so hard for because my relationship is in a position where I can be financially supported. I know my value, I know my hustle, I know what I bring, I know the money that I can bring in too from my efforts and my work. Why am I just gonna throw something good down the drain or put it in a box and put it up in the closet to never be seen again? So interestingly enough, I've chose to never speak on this topic because it makes me nervous. Honestly, the Sprinkle girls scare the shit out of me because a lot of them refuse to see things from our side, and I don't know, they just place so much judgment on us that I'm like, I am not interested in exploring this topic further with you because the judgment is enough to deter anyone away. But today I was on TikTok and Bella Green posted a video talking about being a stay-at-home girlfriend for the past 3 years, and she basically went on to say how it is not what you think it is, how there is a lack of purpose, a lack of drive, and I'm gonna insert her video here so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit long, but trust me, you're gonna wanna listen to it.
Coming from somebody who has been a stay-at-home girlfriend for 3 years, it's not the life you want. And when I say stay-at-home wife, mom, girlfriend, whatever, I mean you are relying solely on your partner's income. But I saw a quote a long time ago, and I wish I listened to it. If you give a man the power to feed you, he also has the power to starve you.
That right there. If you give a man the power to feed you, he also has the power to starve you. Can you imagine the fear of putting your trust fully into someone? I'm assuming if you chose to make this decision to completely give up your finances and put it on somebody else, you must have really trusted them that they were gonna stick around. And you guys, there have been studies, there have been attorneys that have come to say that this just doesn't always work.
I want a divorce. Well, okay, but I'm still gonna stay at home with the kids.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. That's not the case. I know it's hard to hear, but even with child support and spousal support, it's really hard to stay at home full time. I think you're going to need to supplement your income with a job.
No.
If you're a stay-at-home mom and you get divorced, you are going to need to go to work again, though.
Get a job. Get a job, get a job, get a job.
Men end up getting a power complex where they feel like they can cheat, or they can kind of decide what is worth spending the money on and what isn't, because at the end of the day, they're providing. You're expected to cook and to clean and to pick up and just keep your mouth shut, because at the end of the day, the bills are being paid. You're getting to go buy whatever it is you want to buy. So it can create a lot of imbalances in the relationship.
Was no amount of gifts, trips, nothing truly made me happy. And honestly, I convinced all of you that I was living the life. I feel like that's what a lot of women do. They try to convince themselves and everybody else that they're enjoying their life of not having anything for themselves. I was showing you guys this nice apartment, my daily Target runs, you know. I was going crazy every single day. And there is a lawyer on TikTok, but she said the divorce rate with stay-at-home moms and wives is very, very high. It's kind of the same story every time on why they're filing for divorce. You know, the man says, you don't have to work, just stay with me. All you gotta do is take care of the family. To a lot of you guys, that would be music to your ears. If he is paying for your whole life and you don't have any income at all, there will start to be a resentment. I'm just glad I was young. I didn't have any kids. I was not married. I was able to start my life before I wasted more years just staying in the house.
I think that's the whole thing right there, is that the rise of feminism literally came from oppression and feeling like their life was nothing more than being a mother and being a wife. There was no individuality because all you did was serve your children and serve your husband. What about our own purpose? What are we here to do? What mark are we here to make? And it's just interesting to see how recently, especially with the rise of an app like TikTok, we're seeing glorified stay-at-home girlfriends, and maybe that's 1% of the stay-at-home girlfriends, and we're like, yep, that's what I want. When y'all gotta realize that's the 1%. There are a lot of stay-at-home girlfriends that are not happy, that are being cheated on, that are in abusive relationships, and it's all because of the power dynamic that the money is causing on the man feeling like he has a sense of power. And I just know some of you in the comments are gonna be like, but my boyfriend's not like that. Congratulations, babe. We are so excited to hear that. Then this video isn't for you. This is for the other women who are not in your perfect dream 1% relationship, because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of them.
Being in a relationship where you know you will have nothing when you leave, or if this person ever leaves, that's not gonna feel good, you know? And also something else I didn't like about having my life completely funded, you kind of have to let them do whatever they want. To like go about things differently and tolerate a lot of BS because your life is on the line. And as delusional as I was, I knew that I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Once you add kids into the equation, you're probably never gonna leave. Because once you pop out that kid, that's when you really, really sign a death contract. Like, you can't go back now. Because if you leave, not only do you have to fend for yourself, you have to fend for an innocent life too. So you're definitely not leaving if you have no income.
There couldn't be more truth to her talking about being a stay-at-home mom as well. Obviously, you're making a commitment when you marry somebody, if you are married, that, you know, they're gonna be the provider, you're gonna be staying at home. But I can tell you personally that I know so many women that chose to stay with a man, have many kids by them, 3, 4, 5 children by them, completely sacrificed their dreams of going to college or becoming an entrepreneur or whatever it is, to be that, to be the one that cooks, to be the one that cleans, to be the one that takes care of the kids. And guess what? The husband ends up cheating. The husband decides, I want the younger girl, or I'm just not really interested anymore. I have other things that I want to do. And then suddenly it is on this woman to be the sole provider. A woman who had everything, lose everything because she gave a man too much power, and now she is forced to work multiple jobs to provide for children. Women choose this life hoping for a sense of security, when in reality, the only person who is going to be there for you all the time, no matter what, is you. And God forbid they don't leave you, but something happens to them, right? They get sick, they get into an accident, they're not working anymore. Then it is on you. And are you leaving at that point then? What happens then? What happens when the sole provider dies? Or what happens when they get sick? Are you leaving them because they no longer can provide, or are you now stepping up to the plate and being the provider until they can do that again? Nobody talks about these things, so I want to know. And maybe that more gruesome mindset comes from my sole provider passed away. My mom was my sole provider.
Getting back into the workforce is not easy. Go ahead and do your research. And I'm pretty sure you're thinking, oh, I could just get alimony. That's like a unicorn. Do you know how much money that man makes? Did you make him sign a prenup? Because you will get comfortable staying at home, not doing shit. And then before you know it, 10 years passes by, you got kids, your husband's cheating on you with a younger woman. Are you gonna stay, or are you gonna take your kids, get a divorce, get a job? Staying home and taking care of the kids and the house, I think that's outdated. We're in a different time now.
If you guys want to see the rest of her video, I'm going to link it down in the description box because it really is such a good listen. She makes so many incredible points, and I'm really proud of her for being so outspoken and talking about this, because that had to be intimidating. And you know that girls are mean, because she literally says, I hope that the other stay-at-home girlfriends watching this are able to understand where I'm coming from and back me up on this, instead of just painting this perfect facade, perfect picture that everything goes great and I wouldn't have it any other way. The final point that I want to make about this is the lack of purpose that I feel can come with not having any means of making your own money or building your own business or passion or whatever the case is. I remember reading The Lovely Bones, which is obviously a super popular book. If you don't know what The Lovely Bones is about, it's following a young girl who is essayed and ends up being killed by her attacker, and how her family moves through life without her, from her perspective, up in heaven. It follows the mom a lot, who is exactly that. She's a stay-at-home mom. She dedicated her entire life to her husband and her kids, and there is a slight narration about her lack of purpose, how she's feeling depressed and she doesn't really feel like she knows herself. She's having an affair after this happened. She's leaving her husband. Just that feeling of, wait, what is my life? I've spent so long tending to others. What really is my purpose? What really is my life? You hear about this all the time. If you just search in stay-at-home mom on YouTube, you'll see all these videos come up of women sharing their experiences of just how lonely it can be. So while I know that this is not the case for everybody, and I am always, never trying to criminalize, always never, you know what I mean. I am not here to make anyone feel bad. I just encourage everyone to try to see a different perspective. So no one is being attacked here. I'm just offering a different perspective. I'm offering my perspective. If Ryan came home tomorrow and said, hey, I'm making $1 million a year, you never have to worry about anything ever again, I would still continue to work for myself, because Lord forbid anything happens to him, he leaves me, I want to know that I took care of me, because at the end of the day, the only person who will always 100%, no matter what, through thick and thin, have my back is me. And that is the same thing for you. It's the same for everybody. We all have to be looking out for our own selves, because it is a dog-eat-dog world. While you may be in a perfectly wonderful relationship where you may never have to worry about this, we can't act like your relationship is everyone's relationship. It's time that we start shifting conversation and stop making it seem like this is the only way. Sprinkle, sprinkle, razzle, dazzle. Like, no, there are other ways to be in a lovely, healthy relationship. What would happen if you shifted from like finance being the priority to like love and connection being the priority, and maybe finance is falling second? What that could do for even just the depth and intensity of your relationship. I don't know what I'm talking about. I literally don't. I'm just here trying to have conversations. I am not a professional. I am not a sociologist. I'm just a girl, and instead of just talking to my boyfriend about these things all day long, or my friends, I'm bringing it here. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this chat. Hopefully I didn't ruffle too many feathers. I would love to hear your guys' mindset around this. I love having discussions with you guys in the comments. It's literally probably what I look forward to the most after posting these. So if you guys enjoyed, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts and what I should talk about next. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.